Today, on Be Something Wonderful, the subconscious mind doesn't create reality, your assumptions do. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and these are the studios of Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. One of you reached out with several questions, starting with the subconscious mind, everybody is you pushed out, solipsism, and the idea of the collective consciousness. Well, we're going to answer all of these questions today and more. Let's start with your questions. If the subconscious mind creates everything, how do I reprogram it to accept my desired reality? If everybody is you pushed out, this idea of EIYPO as taught by Neville Goddard, and I am reality, why am I not experiencing what I want? Isn't that solipsism? What about the collective consciousness? No matter how much I assume and imagine my reality, doesn't the subconscious collective determine my reality and my world? Sure, I can change my perspective, but that doesn't change the collective world. Well, I want to start here, and then we're going to really dive into this. Remember, it's not so much that the subconscious mind creates everything. The subconscious mind is everything. It's that one mind of God, that one conscious and intelligent mind. This is where we're going to start today and answer all of these questions. The subconscious mind doesn't create reality. It is reality. It doesn't create your reality, it is your reality. This is what Neville Goddard and the other spiritual greats meant by creation is finished. Creation is finished. All potential versions of you in reality exist here and now. That's what they meant by that. And you create and manifest your experience of, within and as, that reality. I'm using a capital R here to represent ultimate reality. Pure awareness, pure consciousness, pure knowing, pure existence. What some refer to as God, or the One, the great I am. The one absolute reality. The kingdom of God, or the kingdom of heaven. The one great I am knows and is experiencing itself through and as you. So your reality is your experience of, within, and as that ultimate reality. And you ask, well, how, Tom? Through your assumptions of yourself. What Neville Goddard called the law of assumption. What you believe, assume, and feel to be true or the truth of who you are. It's that inner conviction. That's what the feeling is. What do you feel to be the truth or true of who you are? That you feel or believe or assume to be the truth, that you don't even question it anymore. You believe that it is reality. It becomes beyond question. This is your idea of your self-concept. Wow. So we start here with God or reality, capital R, ultimate reality, existence, the isness of reality, the great I. And then that existence gives birth to the one conscious and intelligent mind, the universal mind of God. That beingness, it's the isness being now, God being conscious and aware of itself as that one mind. It's the birth of self-awareness. That isness now being aware of itself as the one. It's being self-conscious. Right? The Son of God. That's why the ancients said, in him we exist, we move, and have our being. In what? In that one mind of God. That's Acts 17:28. The great I am, it's what you could refer to as the great subconscious mind. And within that one mind, we live and we move and have our being. In other words, there are infinite viewpoints or perspectives or finite physical mind experiences of that one within that one mind. You, me, and everybody else. It's infinite. Thinking within that one mind. And it's reciprocal, right? You are that one mind. It's not one way. That's what imagining your reality and then having intuition about your reality, because it's all one. Do you see this? This is really debunks the idea of solipsism. Solipsism means there's only me and my finite mind, this here. No other mind exists, no one else, and certainly not the one mind of God, just me. And my finite mind is all that exists. That's solipsism. That's not what we're talking about. The idea of non-duality, or that one divine mind where there's no separation. That's absolute separation and limitation. That nothing else exists but me and my finite mind. That's the difference. All of these experiences exist within that one mind. That's what it means by everybody is you pushed out. It could be no other way. There's only one. And so each individualized perspective exists within this one mind. But there's no separation between them. It's just all that is knowing itself from these infinite perspectives. You as the center. Each one of you are the center of this one divine mind. And at the same time, there's infinite finite perspectives of it, of physical minds. But from your perspective, there's you and your viewpoint or perspective of that reality. You as the center. The experiences of infinite finite minds within the one divine mind. This one collective experience. So the idea of a collective consciousness, well, look at this. Think of this as each one of you existing as that physical finite mind. Remember, the finite mind is just an experience. It doesn't exist. It only exists as a perspective or a vantage point or a viewpoint within the one mind. But you create that experience of that physical finite mind. And you have this, what you believe, this green here, is what you believe to be the truth or true of who you are in your reality. You might want to call it your subconscious or subjective identity. Wow. And those are all part of this one mind that creates what you might call the collective consciousness. But do you see, you are the collective. You're the center of it. It's the paradoxical idea of creation. So that we create this collective experience of what we call the universe or the world. But we see that universal world from an individualized perspective that we call our world or our universe. It's different for each one of you in every moment. But there is this idea of a collective, at any one moment, a collective idea of what that all means within the one divine mind. Do you see this? There's no separation whatsoever. I and the Father are one, but God is greater than the collective experience. But the Father is greater than I. It's greater than any collective experience of all of these finite perspectives. Wow. The Father is greater than I am. Always. Greater than any perspective I can have of myself, but any collective perspective of all infinite experiences, of every point of consciousness. It's all one, but it's even greater than that. So solipsism, it's a non-starter, right? That's just misunderstanding what all this means. Wow, that's powerful. We're going to get back to this. So the idea of impressing or reprogramming the subconscious mind, or what you call your subconscious, is about you choosing your experience within and as the one. Your reality or experience of and as ultimate reality. Do you see? You get to choose your experience as the center. That's what that means. You're deciding what's true or what's the truth for you. It's a choice. That's what is meant by either you're consciously and intentionally choosing, creating and manifesting your experience of and as reality, or someone or something else is. And what is that someone or something else? It's the collective, which is still you, because there's only ever one mind, one all that is, having infinite experiences and perspectives of itself. You're always the one and only operant power. I am of your world and entire life experience. But when you believe that there's some power outside of you, and you give up your power to that, and you don't consciously and intentionally create your reality, then you do allow this idea of a collective subconscious creating your reality for you automatically. That's it. It's just an idea. You're always the operant power. You're always the center of it. But we give that power away to the people, events, and circumstances, or to some subconscious that seems greater than us or outside of us, that seems to be creating and manifesting things automatically, right? You're it. You're the center. Wow, that's powerful. So you're always the operant power. So it's not about convincing and impressing, or what we call reprogramming the subconscious mind until it accepts your new imagined and assumed reality and identity. Right? God already said yes. That mind already said yes. That's vain repetitions. Right? Trying to reprogram it and affirm and assume it until it finally accepts it. That's what the scripture meant by vain repetitions. You can repeat it, but the repetition's not for God. It's not for that subconscious mind. Creation's finished. You are the subconscious mind. It already said yes. The repetition's for you to accept it, for you to convince yourself, for you to know yourself as I am. They're not required, but because we keep creating this idea that the mind must accept it, that this great subconscious must accept it, and we must impress it. That creates that idea that it's separate and that you need to impress it and keep reprogramming it until it accepts it. Those are the vain repetitions. The repetitions for you to finally say, yes, I get it. I am that I am. I accept it. It's only about convincing yourself. That's why Neville Goddard said, there is no one to change but self. No one to convince but self. That self is simply your awareness, Neville says. Your consciousness in the world in which it lives is determined by the concept you hold of yourself. Wow, I love this. Your consciousness in the world in which it lives is determined by your concept of yourself. You determine the experience of and as that collective consciousness. Your consciousness in the world in which it lives. There it is, your experience, your viewpoint, your perspective in the world in which it lives is determined by the concept you have of yourself as the center. You determine it, what that experience as collective consciousness. Wow. You determine your experience of and as that one consciousness. You are the collective, and so isn't everybody else. Your assumptions and what you feel to be true, or the truth of who you are in your reality, creates it all. That's what Neville Goddard meant feeling. It's the feeling of conviction. It's the feeling of identity. He did not mean emotion, as he was very clear on. When he said, I do not mean emotion, but the fact that it is done. The acceptance of the fact that you're already that which you desire to be. Wow. Neville Goddard, your consciousness in the world in which it lives is determined by the concept you hold of yourself. You determine it as the center. Wow. So, you manifest and create and experience what you assume, believe, and feel to be true, or the truth of yourself, your self-concept in your world. What do you accept as your reality? Not what you say you want out loud, not what you necessarily repeatedly affirm, not what you pretend to expect, but who are you? What do you accept as the truth of your identity, of who you are? You simply imagine and assume your desired reality and identity, and then accept it and trust it as yours, that it's done. It's acceptance and trust. It's ease of identity, of already being it. It's not what you say you want out loud, or what you repeatedly affirm, or what you pretend to expect. God is not mocked, But remember, the idea of God is not mocked. It's not a warning, as A Course in Miracles says. God is not mocked. It's not a warning, but it's a reassurance. God would be mocked if any of his creations lacked holiness. If any of his creations lacked anything, God would be mocked. If you weren't already that which you desire to be, God would be mocked. If everything that you can possibly want, imagine, desire were not already yours and you were not already that reality, God would be mocked. There's nothing outside of you or greater than you to impress or reprogram or convince, to accept. It's only you accepting this idea of yourself as the creator, as the center of it all. The creation is whole, A Course in Miracles says. And the mark of wholeness is holiness. Wow. Wholeness, that's the whole idea. The whole idea. Right there it is. Whew. So, as A Course in Miracles says, so you are the center in operant power of the one universal mind, the great I am, or what we call the great subconscious mind. All that is knowing itself through you and as you. Creation or reality is finished, and you create, manifest, and experience it through your unique, individualized personality or perspective. That's what everybody is you pushed out means. It's through your perspective. You experience these other versions, these other points of consciousness, through what you decide, through your perspective, through your assumptions. You create versions of others, the people, places, and things that make sense to who and what you're defining yourself to be in that moment. It's not that everybody is you pushed out means everybody is you. You are you and others are others. But you create a version of them, others, people, places, and events that align with who and what you say you are, because there's only one. Wow. You are you, and others are others, but there's only one knowing itself through infinite perspectives. There's only one you as that center, where you assume, feel, imagine, accept, and affirm to be true, or the truth of who you are and your reality, is your experience of and as all that is. The repetition and the idea of feeling it real is not for God or the subconscious to impress it or convince it or reprogram it. You are, it's all, the program is all that is. It includes everything. It's the ultimate program. It lacks nothing. You're it. It's done. God said yes. God heard you the first time. The repetition's for you to accept it as your truth. Wow. The subconscious mind doesn't create reality. Your assumptions do. In other words, what you believe, feel, and assume to be your truth and what's true of you and your reality. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and these are the studios of Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, stay tuned. We're going to have more content coming, of course, on Be Something Wonderful and on our other YouTube channel, The Tom Kearin. Until next time, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom Kearin here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful. We'll see you soon.